Welcome back. It was a crime which pushed everything else off the front pages. 3 men, all known criminals, found shot dead in the Essex countryside. It was a cold-blooded, professional killing. The victims had many enemies, but which one wanted them executed?
And welcome back to a new video on the Essex Boys case. As always, if you are enjoying the content, please do give the video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in the Essex Boys case, or simply true crime in general, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. A further alleged omission from the trial telephone schedule is the call from Craig Rolfe's mobile telephone ending 404 to an unknown telephone number ending 850, made at 11:09 AM on the 6th of December 1995. Once again, the reason that this 11:09 call does not appear in the trial schedule is because that schedule only contained calls between specific telephones listed on the laminated sheet for that exhibit. The number ending 850 was not one of those telephones. In any event, the Commission considers that calls from Rolfe's phone ending 404 on the 6th of December 1995 are irrelevant, as there is no evidence that this telephone was in Rolfe's possession on that day. Further alleged omissions from the trial telephone schedule include a call from Mr. Steele to the Great Bentley Park telephone kiosk on the 11th of November 1995 at 10:06 AM, and a call from the Halfway House telephone kiosk to Mr. Tate on the 5th of December 1995 at 17:03. In both of these instances, the Commission understands that the calls were not included in the trial schedule because the numbers of the kiosks in question were not included on a laminated sheet for that exhibit. The same is true for calls which were made from Tate's landline to the landline of Claire Carey, one of his girlfriends, at 17:15 and 18:06 on the 6th of December. In all instances, the fact of the calls was revealed to the defence in that the relevant billing was disclosed. The applicants further submit that the trial telephone schedule omitted reference to the calls from Mr. Nichols to Mr. Steele on the 5th of November 1995 at 20:46 and from Mr. Nichols to Mr. Steele on the 6th of November 95 at 16:36. The Commission notes that these omissions were raised by Mr. Steele at trial and were agreed by the Crown. The Commission also notes, in relation to the 6th of November 1995 call, that prosecuting counsel directed Mr. Steele to the telephone schedule, which was exhibited under reference JMW 108, which did include the call in question. The Commission does not consider that there is any new evidence in relation to these omitted calls, which could give rise to a real possibility that the Court of Appeal would overturn the convictions now. Switching of data. Section 122. It is pointed out that Mr. Steele's call to the BT payphone at Bedloes Avenue, Rolfe at 11:53 on the 11th of November 1995 was in the correct position within an unused trial telephone schedule, but incorrectly appears as the last call of the day in the trial schedule. It is submitted that this difference between the schedules shows that Essex Police manipulated the data in an attempt to mislead the jury. The Commission observes that this point was raised by Mr. Steele in his trial evidence, and it was accepted by the Crown that the call appeared in the wrong place in the trial schedule. The Commission also observes that, in his application for leave to appeal in 1998, Mr. Steele made the submission that this inaccuracy revealed police misconduct and was aimed at deceiving the trial jury. The submission was considered by the Court of Appeal in January 1999 and so is not new for the Commission's purposes. The same is true of Mr. Steele's submission regarding the quote, reversed order of 2 calls timed at 20:39 on the 6th of December, one from Mr. Steele's landline to Mr. Steele's mobile and the other from his landline to Mr. Wome's mobile. Mr. Steele's submission that the reversal of these calls in the trial schedule was a deliberate attempt by the Crown to undermine his alibi was before the Court of Appeal in January 1999. the Commission does not consider that there is any new evidence in relation to the quote, switching of data, which could give rise to a real possibility that the Court of Appeal would overturn the convictions now. Attribution of mobile telephones, Section 123. The applicants submit that Essex Police and or the CPS misled the jury by listing in the trial telephone schedules that the Saunders Tate landline was solely used by Pat Tate and that the Street Steele landline was solely used by Michael Steele. It is submitted that Miss Saunders and Miss Street were good friends who used to talk on the phone frequently, but the jury was left with the false impression that all of the calls between these two numbers were between Mr. Tate and Mr. Steele. The Commission observes that this point was raised by Mr. Steele in his trial evidence. The applicants further submit that Essex Police and or the CPS wrongly attributed mobile phones ending 913 and 404 to Craig Rolfe. It is pointed out that the two telephones were actually registered to Mr. Rolfe's brother Michael and to Penelope Hughes, Michael Rolfe's partner, respectively. In relation to the phone ending 913, the applicants will be aware that, although this was registered to Michael Rolfe, there was evidence that Craig Rolfe was a user of the phone for a considerable period of time. According to Penelope Hughes' witness statement, S167A, dated the 9th of April 1997, Michael Rolfe had obtained the phone for Craig due to the latter's poor credit rating. Craig Rolfe had used it for 13 months, but had then lost it a matter of days before he was murdered. Craig Rolfe's partner, Donna Jaggers, also confirmed that he had lost his telephone a few days before he was murdered. See police message M184. Throughout its review of this case, the Commission has discovered no evidence to suggest that Craig Rolfe was still in possession of mobile phone 913 on the 6th of December 1995. Nor has the Commission discovered any evidence of calls to or from this telephone after 1900 hours on the 6th of December. In relation to telephone 404, the Commission observes that Penelope Hughes, in her April 1997 witness statement S167A, stated that she was the sole user of this telephone. The applicants submit that the phone was wrongly described as, quote, Rolfe's mobile in the trial telephone schedules, as evidenced by the call made at 12:04 on the 7th of December 1995, after the bodies of the victims had been discovered. Whilst the Commission acknowledges that this call was incorrectly attributed to Mr. Rolfe, and the same may be true of other calls in the trial schedule, it does not consider that this point in itself gives rise to a real possibility that the Court of Appeal would overturn the convictions in this case. If you would like to learn more about the Range Rover murders, then click on the video in front of you now. You will also see the Essex Boys playlist, which has all of the videos concerning this case in one convenient folder. Many thanks for joining me for this video. I look forward to seeing you all again for the next one. Take care. Cheers.